And tape start. So, Chuck, you can start. And Doris?
We are underway.
We're
Yeah.
underway. Well, hi, I'm Doris Dalbec, as most of you know, because I know most of you. We're going to do a little demo today. About a month ago, I was looking in Cheap Joe's art catalog, and they had a rice paper in there called Masa. Donetta, the teacher, always has to tell me how to pronounce it. And I thought, oh, that really looks kind of fun, because I get kind of bored, and, you know. So I bought I think it was 10 sheets for $13 or something in for it. So I've been playing with this now about a month. And if I'm going to kind of tell you right up front, if you're a person that likes a lot of control in your work, this might not be for you. Because you kind of lose all control. The paper has two sides. It has a smooth side, and I passed it around one other time. And this is the side you're actually supposed to paint on. And I didn't mark it the first time I did it, and after I crinkled it and wet it and everything, I was painting on the other side, which has like a little, it feels like, it's just soft. It has a nap. Yeah, there's a little nap to it.
It feels like flannel.
It's something, it feels like a piece of flannel. So you don't want to paint on that, but after you do this wetting thing, you don't know what side you're on. So I always take a little X. And I've done it up here at the top and down here, because I probably don't know which way this painting goes. So that I know this is my smooth side. So when I pull it out of the water, I'm going to look for that little X and lay it out before I start painting on it. Which I have done now in the past month. I've accidentally painted on this back side. It kind of piles up like a sweater pile, and I'm not sure how to explain it. It just doesn't work very good. And you're starting to pull the paper actually up with your brush. It's not real good. So, does anybody want to fill this before I start on it again, or is everybody good? Okay, we're good. So we're just going to sprinkle it, and then we're going to place it in the water, and sprinkle it a little more. And you usually kind of let that stay in there maybe, I don't know, it says in the instructions maybe a minute. I haven't left it in there a minute because it doesn't, for mine, what I'm doing, it doesn't seem to need a minute. And you really press it. And you have this nice crinkle up. Now you want to be careful when you're unfolding it because it tears, you know, it's rice paper. Who else worked on rice paper before? Has anybody worked on rice paper? 3? So you know kind of yeah. Do you watercolor on it?
I have a watercolor on now.
So Dutch, what do you do on it? Ink?
Watercolor.
You watercolor on it?
Yes. It's classic, traditional.
Well, I know, but I meant there's other things you can do on it, so I just was wondering if that was all of you know.
Things we can mention here.
So see, now this has this nice little crinkle look to it. And I kind of sprayed with the paints that I think I'm going to use with a little water to make sure that they're fluid. And for some reason, I don't know if all rice paper does this or not, they'll seem to melt down into the painting. So I guess if you want strong color, you've got to hit it with a little bit more color. And it doesn't, this part of it doesn't take long, you know, you're in and out and
Are you going to tell us what blue?
Well, this blue, phthalo blue. I'm into phthalo blue right now.
See, she can
And
answer.
phthalo
Rick
green.
always just says some blue or other.
Doris, did you have to crumple it or could you just wet it flat?
Well,
If you
you're
wanted
not
to.
going to get the yeah, you could just wet it if you want, but the reason I'm doing this is, the reason I picked this particular paper when he advertised it in Cheap Joe's because it gives you a batik look, which I thought was kind of
Okay.
interesting, you know.
Kind of tie-dye look.
Yeah, kind of an oriental batik look, so flowers do pretty good on this. And like I say, you want to kind of keep hitting it darker because it does have a tendency to fade out.
If you have to really saturate it, do you pretty much have to work with it level, or could you work at an angle? Or have you done that?
I don't work with this at an angle at all. No.
Are you painting an object or just trying to
Well,
get
I'm
an
just-
interesting
I'm
background?
just- Well, actually, I'm into the fish now because, well, that was the other thing. The object that you want to draw on that with are what they, now all this is stuff that you can pull it up on the internet. If you pull up masa painting techniques, you get several sites that kind of will tell you what to do, but you don't necessarily have to follow them. On the one, they said outline your image, you know, with this waterproof marking pen, which I borrowed from Doris Winger the other day. And so that's what I did. So that's going to be pretty much. I'm throwing a little of the color on my fish because I don't want to go back in and just paint that flat because I want to get this batik look all the way through. I don't want to just all of a sudden have it pop up on me. And the fish has these, so I'm just kind of playing with this a little bit.
Did you draw your figures on the same side that you're painting? Or
Yes,
did you draw them on the
yes,
opposite?
no, they're drawn on the same size that I'm throwing this paint on. Don't exactly call this painting exactly, it's like you're throwing this paint
What's
around.
that brush you're using, Doris?
It's an Oriental,
Catherine Williams.
Oh, yes, Susan?
it's just my favorite brush, I use this with acrylic and everything. I've got 2 or 3 of those, they're just Oriental brushes, they hold the water, you can double. I'm not an Oriental brush painter, so, but I like this brush, so.
If you went online to find those, do you think they would be under SUNY brushes?
I got mine through Oriental Art,
Okay.
OAS, Oriental Art
Yeah, that's
Supplies,
okay.
years
Cheap
ago.
Joe's has all the catalogs.
Okay.
And so that's where I got mine. Well, but you know, they last forever, you know, what's expensive, is my husband here? I mean, you know, this is, I've had these probably 15 years. Louise and I took an Oriental brush painting class over there at the Lighthouse Art Center, and it was kind of interesting. We kind of figured about that time that wasn't going to be my cup of tea. Because, yeah, it's a long time ago, maybe 15 years.
I think it was more than that.
Was it more than that? It's a long time. See, I'm still using the brushes, huh? Well, it's not like they're going anywhere. Okay. Now, that's the start. And you can, since I know this is going to dry up, I'm going to hit this down here in this corner with some heavy color. Because I know I want my heaviest color down here in this corner when this dries up. And probably right behind that fish. Okay, now, demo's over. So,
Question, Doris, question.
Could we get a real close-up shot of what she has just, finished before she goes on, please?
How close would you like it, Lee?
The one that shows the brush strokes, it's how to do it.
So Doris, where it's been crumpled, more pigment is settling into those creases.
yeah, it's giving you that batik look.
Look like ants on there,
It
walking
does.
around on a fish.
They do. I told you, if you want a lot of control in your life, this probably isn't your technique. And since I have no control in my life, this works great. Okay, so now we've reached this point, and this has to dry, it says in the book, 24 hours, and it says naturally dry, which means I can't take the hairdryer and, now I don't know, I should try one with the hairdryer and see what it does if it, but I'm just saying, the instructions say at this point to let it naturally dry. So I'm gonna lay this over there and let it naturally dry.
So we all have to come back
No,
tomorrow?
no. No.
I feel you have one that's been.
I had one that I did last night, and it's naturally drying for 24 hours. And this stuff is a process, and after I did it all, I'm thinking, why am I doing this? You could paint that thing faster. And I think here it is. Okay, so this is after it kind of dried up. You see how the colors sink in? They're not as, I don't know, to me they just kind of lose a little of the vibrancy, and that's okay.
Put it right here so we can put it right towards the camera. Doris.
So,
Okay.
we've reached this point. And then you have what they call the sweet paste. It's like a wallpaper paste, actually.
What did you call it?
It's sweet paste. It's wallpaper paste. I got it over at Ace Hardware in a little green box, and I didn't want to bring the whole box, so I just put a little out. And you just mix it in with the water and make like you're going to wallpaper.
That's the kind you used to eat in kindergarten.
Like a paper mache kind of
Or
deal.
is it
It's
flour
wallpaper
paste?
paste. It's
Yeah.
sweet wallpaper paste. I mean, I don't know if they use it in kindergarten or not, but,
Taste it and then
no, I don't want to taste it.
Would you use a different paste, Doris?
I have no idea. I'm just, like I say, this is all new to me. When I'm doing a lot of artwork, I will use a craft spray bond. But this said to do it this way, so I'm just kind of going by their instructions. I mean, it's only like $2 a box, and it's gonna last me.
And it doesn't show through the paper like some of these other glues when it, gets
When
a
it
little age
dries.
on it.
So, so I took a piece of inexpensive, I don't know, it's one of the it's not arches, it's just a piece of watercolor paper that sometimes I'll run through my printer because it's thin. So it's not expensive watercolor paper, it's not,
It looks heavy, what is it?
it's a piece of watercolor paper, I think it's Stratford, the inexpensive. I don't know, it just
Looks
come
like
out of my pile of papers. It's just, you can use 300 pound, but at $10 a sheet, I
Yeah.
didn't want to do, I looked at it.
It's crumpled 300-pound paper. I can't even hardly bend it to cut it into.
No, to glue this on.
Uh-huh.
Is it back?
You can use it as a support, the 300 pound papers.
Oh, I see.
Um,
Mhm.
But it's, I just like 300 pound of paint on. I don't think I really would like to use it as a backing. I have crumpled 90 pound, and I'll show you a piece of that to try and see what it would do with this batik look. And I haven't finished it, it's just the beginning, I've let it dry. And with that, you don't have to, you don't have to attach it to anything. Okay, you use a rubber brayer. They make these brayers that are hard plastic, but I like this particular rubber one. And you just lay that out. it down like that. And then you just brayer your piece on there. And when you do that, you're gonna lose a lot of that. It just, yeah, you're gonna, so you wanna be careful and make sure you get it cool, or you're
So
gonna
you're
have a
starting
lot
from
of.
the middle as well,
Yeah, did I? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
working out towards the edges.
Probably. Glad you guys are paying attention. Now, this is one that I worked on last night, so I'd have this second one to pop up here. And here you go again, this says to let it dry. Now, I've gone back in and painted on this without letting it dry, but it doesn't, it's still a little, the paste makes it a little bit moist. So, you know, you're not gonna get those nice vibrant colors. But we'll try a little bit
And
here.
using the brayer, it doesn't rub out your wrinkles?
It doesn't rub out, it rubs out the wrinkles, but the paint has soaked into the,
Oh.
so you still have the batik look.
It's already printed.
Yeah, it's already on there. So. So. And you know, fish is so loose, you know, you don't have to, it's not like they're stand still. Now, the collage effort on this is you can take, I take a lot of the papers that I used and run through the printer and have color on. I take and I tear them up into pieces like this. So you know, if you need a little yellow or something, you can just take this and put it on there. You know, and you're going to get it nice, vibrant with I use the Yes glue for that. I go back and I use this Yes glue and collage paste, you know, pieces on there, and it melts down in, and then you can take watercolor and go back and kind of play with that. So yeah, that's why you save all your pieces of everything, scraps of paintings and everything. You just, you know. And Donetta gave me these this morning. This is a piece of rice paper. It actually has like a little fiber in it. Can you see the fiber in the rice paper? So I'm thinking this fish tail, I'm going to take and cut a piece and pull it and on this one and this one and have those fibers look like the fins going out. So, and then once you do all of that, you just, now this is a piece of 90-pound watercolor paper that I did the same thing. I wet it and then I painted on it. But then to get it to see, it's still crinkly. I ironed that. It doesn't brayer out like this. So I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and I don't know what I'll do on that yet.
Come on, Chuck, keep up.
Are you up there? I don't know what I'll do on that yet, but you know, it's a background. Some of these you just start ending up with a lot of.
Jumping all around behind you, trying to catch you.
So Doris, is that 90-pound paper also
This is,
Masa?
no, this is just plain old 90-pound watercolor paper.
Just
This,
regular paper?
yeah, after I read about the moss, I didn't have any, and I thought, I wonder if you could do the same, crinkle it and wet it and paint on it and get the same technique. But you know, after you do all of this, you can almost get this same technique if you just put your paint down and put wax or saran wrap on it.
Hold that up to Chuck's little camera.
There you go, Chuck. That's a background that we haven't decided what we're going to do with it yet.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, now I did this one last night.
It's me, yeah.
This is one I did last night and collaged, and it took me 10 times longer than if I painted the thing. Don't quite know why I'm doing this collage work.
Because it's different.
Okay.
It's different. It's really different.
This dungeon too.
Yes, because I cut it, well, actually what I did was I had some rice paper in here that I had an another fish on, and I took and I actually painted this on rice paper and then cut it out.
camera.
Then cut it out and collaged it on there. I mean, this is like, why am I doing this? It's one extra step of having to glue something on your paper, but you do get kind of a three-dimensional,
Yeah,
It's very
Look,
attractive.
you get texture.
you get texture, and that's the same thing, if you look up at the wall, the one with the yellow and the blue, that's the same thing, the rocks have all been collaged on there,
That's
and
it.
the
That's you, Doris?
that's mine. That was my first, probably my second one. That I started with this thing, and that's on the 300-pound paper also. And that's a print. Because I've also
Really?
decided, which I don't understand
there.
my thinking, and that's one on 140-pound paper,
Thanks.
the daffodils.
Get over here, Hank.
And that's collaged on that 140-pound paper. And I'm
Yeah.
taking prints of this because I kind of don't like the edges sticking out. So if I took the watercolor over there this morning, and this is a print. Because it seems to meld it down into the, so I'm thinking, I don't think I'm a collage artist. I mean, I'm trying to hide the edges, I'm trying to paint the colors on rice paper and connect them. I mean, I'm probably not like Bobby, I'm not a collage artist. So, but I'm trying, so that was this one.
And have a waxy look.
The print, the actual painting doesn't. And you can, I also did, landscape crinkling that paper. Now this is on the rice paper again, so you can see, you know, how it, but I'm not crazy over right in this area, so I'll probably go back in like I did on the ship. The boat down there that's wrecked was an old painting that I didn't care for. Let me bring it up to the screen.
You want me to bring it to you?
Yeah, that's great. This has been hanging around my house for a long, long time in my pile of stuff, because I had just lost the rocks, they were just dark. So, I was able to go in on the computer, find some color that I
To the
liked,
camera.
There you go.
and run my rice paper through the printer, and then tear the pieces, and I collaged the rocks and was able to bring them back somewhat to life. It still, to me, has a look that, you know,
I like that. But that's a print also?
no, this is the painting.
So I can see the texture of your.
Well, because rice paper, here, I'll pass it, it's there, you can feel it.
Okay.
And it's mostly just on the rocks that got
Oh, I
collaged.
see it, yeah.
So,
That's like it. I like it.
and I'll probably do that with this one, I'll probably go back with rice paper and color some colors out of these rice papers. I use yes. Yeah, the only time I use that wallpaper paste is to get it attached to this piece right here. Things always look better welcoming than that. But this is gonna have a lot of work done on it yet. Yeah. But Matt always, when I'm working on them too, I always like to keep mats around like this, because I always put the mat, as I'm working, I always keep mats. And the two up on the bookshelf are just plain, I guess you call that just one stroke oriental painting, you know, sumi. I'm not real crazy, I mean, I don't do that a lot, that's probably my 2 attempts at it, so. Okay, I'm done.
I like the way Doris goes from one side of the room to the other, and then Chuck tries to fly from one side of the room to the other.
So what we can do here now, we can play around with this a little bit, but see, this to me gets kind of boring because I'm not sure what I'm doing. And I'm gonna cut some of these papers and tear them and try and get these fish to look like. The fins. And then after you put this paper on there, you can also go back with your watercolor and watercolor over it again.
Is there a time limit to the drying of that stuff? Is that-
Everything, as I'm reading, everything's telling me to let everything dry 24 hours, so I don't know what the deal is with
No,
this.
I meant, are you under a time constraint now,
No.
adding stuff to your picture?
No, I can work on this, in fact, I will be working on this a lot, because I'll go be, putting some texture, with rice paper, I'll be gluing some stuff on down in here, and I'll be probably, but this again, see, it's telling me to let this dry. So, let's see if we go in here with a little color, what it's gonna do exactly. But I can see that rice paper working real well right over in these areas where this, but it's not gonna glue down too good right now, I don't think, on this wet. This is damp, if you feel this, it's damp. So I'm working on damp paper here, so I'm not gonna be able to really develop it the way I would like right now. It's quite a process, this type of painting.
Is there a
Does anyone have
special name
questions?
for that rice paper with the texture that you tore?
Mossa?
No, I'm sure there is, I just don't know it. Donetta just gave me this, and I've used it years ago, I was playing around with this, but, see, I can almost see that fin, doing that, right there. And this is just the yes glue. See, it's gonna loosen up this area for me a little bit that got real tight. See, I like the looks of that already a little bit better. See, it loosened. And so you can go back in this and just set and play with these extra papers that you have all over.
It's okay,
Texture, doesn't it?
What, oh, hi Chuck.
So then will you paint over that now?
You could, or you can leave it white. It depends on what you want after you get all these extra papers glued on there. You might want to tone some of it down. I love that look.
Yeah.
I like that look. I could never
Cool
paint
stuff.
that. This is pretty cool stuff.
All right, Donetta, where'd you get that?
She got it actually in the scrapbook.
Package of scraps, like trimmed scraps
Oh.
for scrapbooks and stuff.
They used to have it at the stationery store.
Oh, really?
A long time ago, I don't know if they still do or not.
They probably have it at creating lasting
Oh,
memories.
yeah.
and
See, I like
Yeah,
that. I
probably.
can see how this is gonna work just so
And
well.
they have quite a bit of it at the Art Center in Eureka too.
Do they?
Yeah.
It was like all kinds of trim pieces.
Oh.
You just get a package like that at Michael's or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. All Under Heaven has a ton of it in Eureka. I mean, all different weights.
Where?
Both of them.
Where's that?
Have you
In
used it just with
Arcata
acrylic?
has an All
Have you
Under
tried
Heaven on the
acrylic with
plaza, and
plastic
there's one in
paper?
Eureka in Old Town, and they have all different weights.
I'm not sure what
shapes.
that would do,
All
if it
Under
would, I mean, I
Heaven.
don't
They
know.
import things from China.
Oh, great.
Not just art papers.
Yeah, but they have a whole section of art papers.
Well, everything's coming from China, which is moved to China.
Yeah, okay.
But I can see how this is going to do exactly what I want it to do. It's just gonna take me a little time to set, and, it's time consuming.
So you should actually have a half dozen to be working on.
You should, and
So
that's,
you don't get impatient.
yes, that's right, and I do have a half dozen big. That's why I always have like 3 pallets going. I thought, well, I'll bring them all, cause I don't know which one of these I'm gonna be picking up. Cause my colors, if I'm working on one piece, then
What kind of glue is that?
this is called Yes Glue, Y-E-S, Yes Glue. I brought mine in a big bottle like this, and I've had it maybe 10 years. I mean, it
Where
lasts
do you buy
forever.
that?
Probably through Cheap Joe's. I'm not sure where I got
It's
it.
an art supply glue though.
Yeah. Let's see how we can just start really bringing this old fish to life with these extra papers. And there. Yeah. Like that. started this, I said, this is not gonna be a real exciting demo, cause we're sitting here gluing papers.
I think it's exciting. Yeah, I think it's exciting.
The only thing is we all need our own little thing.
Well, that starts
Saturday
saving
workshop.
all your computer, you know, everybody's got all these papers floating around. I mean, don't we? Doesn't everybody?
No,
I never throw anything away, so I got a lot of paper floating.
Me too.
Oh, you're to the next episode of Hoarders, right?
Huh?
You're the next episode of Hoarders?
Yeah.
Right.
I've got one room that, the house isn't bad, but my art room. Could be. I've never seen an art supply that I didn't think I needed. I needed something that I never used. Why did I need that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I might need it eventually. See, you just kind of, just start putting your, yeah, the colors on that right, and you're doing rice paper on rice paper, so, you know, you just kind of, and I'll do some more of the thin thing in a couple of places. But, oops, I got my paper. But see, it's, oh, he's got that up there. Sorry, Chuck, I keep thinking they can't see that.
Well,
But, there we go.
you wanna hold it up for him?
No, that's, do you wanna see it?
Sure. Hold it up.
But they're kind of fun if you're just sitting around and have, you know, just wanna play with stuff.
Turn it toward Chuck,
Turn it towards the camera.
a little more.
Wait, okay. Let's get right in on it.
Yeah, and it's just the same rice paper. It's a piece of the masa paper that I played around with and it didn't turn out. And so I tore it up and.
Okay, stage left.
This is why you get the big bucks.
Here's one of the masa papers. See, I just did not, well, actually it didn't, because see, here's the slick side and I painted on the smooth side. So actually, that's why it kept not working for me. I hadn't marked the sides.
Well, that was research.
This has all been research. This is all new to me. This is, like I say, I read about this about a month ago and started playing around with it. This is it's all new to me. I'm not a collage artist, obviously. And then, our real collage artist here, Bobby, told me about this stuff, and she had a couple of pieces, and it's called webbing. And it's called webbing. And I think she brought a couple of her pieces up here for me to show. It's these gold, she's used gold and green and black on this, Bobby. You can get it in lots of different colors, this webbing. And
It sprays out.
it sprays out.
with these, like, linear
And I was
lines.
gonna do it here, and she said, no, you wanna go outside and have your motion go down. So obviously I've never opened the can, you might not want me to do it right now, because I don't know what it does. But it would be something that you could play around with, and it looks like kind of fun. It looks like it would really loosen up, it would loosen this up.
Bring it back alive.
Are we done?
Will you pass it around?
Yes, I'll pass it around.
Yeah, we're all.
Here's a gold one, I'll pass these, can I pass this around, Bobby? This one has the webbing on it also, and I thought that was kind of a neat, that could loosen up your painting if you weren't loosened up by the time you got done with it. If you're really wanting to get loose.
Have a glass of wine if that doesn't work.
it's got gold.
The lady that
Sharon, I
showed me
think.
this said she thought it pulled it together when she was, you know, doing a lot of different things, and then she put that on.
And it kind of unified it, it gave you one technique over the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many flaws.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's really neat.
And it comes in lots of colors.
I picked up the gold and I noticed they had it in black, and I think black and silver, and it just isn't art.
Is it expensive?
You know, under $5. I don't know what. It wasn't expensive. Because I mean, how many times are you gonna web? You know, this is probably the best web like yes, have it forever. So, got that at Ace. This I got at Ace. And you can kind of see when this dries how you can go in there with that and give this a few chunks of that. And let's see, I love this little area, but I need to bring a little light right over in here.
On your house, it would be great, you know.
I don't need that much wind.
I like the way, I had never thought about putting a mat on it during,
The painting process.
it really does kind of.
I always do that. I ruin more mats, but I cut my own mats. So to me, it's kind of I just like to do that because then I kind of get a feeling, because to me, a mat just zones me in what I need to do then, you know, what I could really. I love the way that yellow hit there. I probably would go back in my little collage pieces and find a brighter piece for right in this area, because I want to keep this as my center of interest.
Really?
And right in here, I'll probably pull some more of this wonderful stuff that Donnetta gave me. I couldn't have done this without my friends today.
Oh, I'm sure you would have baked your way through it just fine.
Yeah, but Donnetta brought me these wonderful papers that, oh, this is much better. Oh, I was good. She had these. Of course, I'd used them and I asked her. She had these. Yeah, so we should all just become little collages. There you go. See, I love that look. If it's going to get too light on here, I always know that since it is white, as soon as this dries a little bit, I can go back and color it and tone it down just a little bit if I really want to. Oh, you could probably get it at Walmart even.
Or Ben Frank.
Or Ben Franklin's.
What?
That
webbing.
webbing.
The back row is doing all kinds of creating, you've got to share. with
I
them.
know.
Well, they were talking about putting it on material.
You know, it's, you can just collage, you can just go any way you want, but. Maybe not there.
So Doris, if you put mats on a lot of what you're working on, do you have some standard sizes that you work with? So you can kind of interchange mats, or
Well,
any size
actually,
is okay, or?
I have a lot of different sizes. I have a lot of mats that because I cut my own mats, so I usually end up with several mats that aren't real good. So I just stack them over there and then, you know.
Is that the equivalent of quarters?
No. A quarter sheet mats up to 16 by 20. I don't know what this is. This is This one's is a little bit smaller than this one because I wanted to cut off the bottom here, so I kind of cut this mat last night for this actually. And this is a 16 by 20.
Would you mind handing?
Oh no, sure. Now this is a print.
Right.
Okay.
But do you do these prints on your computer?
Actually, I run this painting over to the light at the Debbie's this morning and just had her print it for me.
Not rice
So.
This looks like. Right.
Okay. You didn't bring in the original?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did. And I can pass it around.
Well,
There we go.
oh,
See, you can tell the.
and is that photo?
This is photo paper.
Yeah.
This is rice paper. This is the masa paper.
Okay.
So it's all this. Iris is a little bit. If you feel it here, it's rice paper on top of paper.
So the iris is rice paper, it's not photo.
It's some rice paper on it and some photo paper. I'm doing
Okay.
all of this with the computer.
Show the camera, Doris.
But they're not computer images that you
No,
cut out.
no,
Okay.
no. No, actually, I'm running, some of this stuff, I'm running some old watercolors and stuff that I have through and then just doubling up on the images and cutting them. Recycling. Yeah, recycling, because I never throw any of.
What's that Chuck is showing on the screen now?
That's the original, and I'm putting the print around.
Maybe, oh,
Let's see who's here today.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yes, yes.
So is there any other questions that I can answer that I?
Your original is much nicer than the print one.
Well, it shows the dimensions. See, that's something that I'm not really crazy over that.
But it also, there's a certain amount, there's to the surface, that on a print, you have that more gloss.
It sparkles and shines.
Doris, you have to talk to the last row. We're feeling neglected.
But, see, to me, this just kind of lends itself to this stuff. And it just takes forever. So, I can see down in here maybe, get some of those colored papers and put in some, my tendency is I wanna paint it in.
Right. Are you sure you just don't wanna paint it in there?
That's why your brushes are not sitting on the table.
I just wanna kinda paint in there, but I'm gonna be, you know, for all our people that want collage, and it's this way. So, any other questions that I can answer? See, this isn't, because this paper's wet, this is kind of not gluing down as well as I would like it to.
Now, if you want to use waterproof pen on that, you do that when it's dry.
I did it when it's dry, but you can go back in there right now and do some water. You know, if you wanted to, after it's dry, you can use that black pen, colored pen. Right in there, looks a little bit. Mostly this is just like when you're painting, you know, you look at a painting and you say, oh, I need to go back and do this and this. It's just with a collage, you're looking at it and you go, I need to fix that. That's not quite like it. I like it. Not on rice paper. You can't on 300-pound paper.
That was just ideas. I took that loud.
Or I can't, it's kind of like rice paper, it's like that one stroke and that's it. Do you just do one stroke and then you're done with rice paper and go back and?
Never make mistakes.
Cause you only have that one shot, right? That's so true.
I think you discovered a new art form. It's called career paint.
What's career paint?
Well, you keep working on the same one for the rest of your life.
Yes, that is kind of a bad thing, isn't it?
Well, not really. Doris painted so fast.
This slows me down.
One paint after another, which in some ways is frustrating.
Frustrating too.
The fact that you can't.
Yeah, to those people who can't.
She paints like 2.5 hours.
This does really slow you down, I'll tell you.
Doris, could you fold the paper like in a regular way, like an origami kind of thing? If you wanted to like raise it in the sky or something, then soak it, then unfold it. I mean, like origami.
Years ago, I did paper, and I can't remember if it was NASA or what, because we were in that experimental thing with inks. And I had a piece of paper that felt a little bit like this, it's just been so many years ago. And we folded it like an accordion, and I laid it in this plastic thing. Then I just poured inks over it. And I did 3 of them. And that's 3 of my favorite pieces. Didn't have to paint anything on the thing. It left some white, but the paper seemed a little different than this. I can't remember what I used. And then I just framed them, and I still like those 3. Very modern looking. And it was folded in
Didn't you pleat them?
Well, it was
Because it looks
folded like an
pleated.
accordion. I just folded it back and forth like an accordion. Laid them in a, you know, like from Walmart or something, one of those dishpan things, and then just poured the inks over it. And it was absorbent enough that it absorbed down through the paper, but it didn't hit everywhere. But inks are, it was those F&W inks.
They're more vivid.
They're very vivid. They're like $15.95 then. They were like $15 a bottle. And you know, I used like 3 colors on it. you have to say, well, I'm probably gonna lose $30 here, but
45.
45.
it doesn't take a whole lot to be. I mean, these are big bottles. And I did 3, but I had to lay 3 out and do 3 pours. You don't just get, you have to pour over each one. So, and that you just kind of have to make sure you've got colors that you like, because, and that works, so you want to do it over on a little practice thing before you start this coloring.
Did you wet the paper before you did that?
No, I didn't. I just folded it and laid it down because the wet, it was a little thinner than this, I think, or it just absorbed the paint. Rice paper really seems to absorb paint.
Did you let them dry between flies? Between different color plates?
No, no, you do all the.
Yeah, so they have it blending.
Yeah, it blended and left some white. There was some white areas, not so much in, but it was, I should have brought those, but then I'm not showing you how to do that, so that wouldn't have been.
That'll be the next demo.
I don't
That
know.
was next month.
Yeah, that's next month, right?
You're on again on the calendar.
So this is, anything else, any other questions? We've got about 10 minutes. So, let's see. This isn't a good time for me right now to go back in and try and do the negative painting on this because it's still wet. And so I'm not getting any crisp edges that I want. It's just blending back into the thing. And I don't particularly want that right now. So I might have some more available. Yeah, this is a good way to keep all your old papers and.
Or even you could go in and just do different colored sheets of paper that you would have.
Well, I like the different textures on it, so you
Right.
can go in and, pull up anything you want and crop little pieces of it that you might want. Not too much. This is almost like, watching grass grow.
I was gonna say, that's tedious.
It is, it's like, okay.
It also seems like a technique that if you were interrupted, it wouldn't, it's not gonna.
It doesn't bother if you be interrupted. Your phone can ring, that's not gonna bother.
I thought I put it on vibrate, but it was on.
Doesn't matter.
But it would be a technique that you could walk away from and then come back to.
Yep, very easily.
Sometimes you're better off to do
Yeah,
that.
you are.
With hair.
By koi, Doris.
Hmm?
By koi. You painted a lot of koi. Why those as opposed to something else?
I don't know.
The color they lend themselves well to this kind of
Don't
thing.
have to, I don't know. It's just they're colorful. I think they're really colorful. I imagine a goldfish would be just as good. This piece is good.
What are we doing?
About what?
Are you adding a tail?
Yeah, I'm adding a little piece of this rice paper right down here, because I wanted this.
The shark bit the end off, so she's
Yeah.
replacing it.
See, every time you do that, to me it adds a little, and you don't have to do much. It just, it starts really pulling it together.
Are these all for sale, Doris?
Yes, are they for sale, even your prints?
The prints are for sale, unmatted. I have a couple of them.
They want it with the mat.
You want it with the mat?
She does.
Okay.
She's just real easy. Okay.
I'll talk to you afterwards.
Okay.
But if it's more than $5.
Then I won't take them
But
out.
I love that rice paper on those. See, I've learned something here today.
You've got to add excitement Even if you had a little bidding war,
I
it
did
didn't.
that just, now I'll go back in when this dries and everything, and I'm gonna tone a little bit that down, put a little shadow underneath it, but leave some of the highlight up there. And I can see how that's going to work. Yeah, I need to do something there, but I'm not sure what I'll start working probably around, and then I'm gonna add something over in here.
Can't you do it now?
The fibers get it motion. What'd you say?
Can you do it now?
What? I can't because, see, this, I needed one more piece that I was ready to pull out. And I didn't get it done. Cause this is wet. When I put that wallpaper paste on the back and glued that down, it dampened that rice paper, and I want that rice paper, as I go in now for my final painting, to be dry so the paint stays crisp. It still it's like watercolor paper, you know, if it's damp, it's gonna bleed in. So I'm just starting to get mud. Every time I try and put something in, it muddies on me because the paper is actually damp where I pasted it down. And I think even even this paper that I'm trying to glue on, it wouldn't be as difficult if the paper underneath it was dry. So that's why you need 3 or 4 of these things going and just flip them over. And
So are you seeing going in and putting more definite
Doris,
lines,
you could do a
definitions?
I would do a lot of I'll do a lot of negative, I call negative painting on this one.
Yes, how about that, Doris?
The negative painting
Suggestion
is
for the
like
back row.
where I want this to be real light here. I'm gonna go in with some dark right in this area, and that's gonna pop that light bill out. That's painting the negative, painting the highlighting, and that is popping off.
She wants to keep this, she wants this to be light,
Just,
just paint
I'll
something
stick
dark
with
underneath
watercolor on
it.
this. Cause I'm not unhappy with the way it's looking, you know. You know, it's so that I can see, it's gonna, you know, this will take another 3 hours. Which is the other reason I'm not real sure why I'm doing it this way, because you can paint the painting in, you know, maybe half hour. But going back and redoing it, it's,
It's something new, it's a challenge.
I have no challenges in my life. So, there we go. Any other questions? None? We're all gonna go out and do rice painting and we're in lots of paint.
Doris, do you want to say goodbye to the
Goodbye.
viewing audience?